Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Beach Business Breakfast podcast show. This morning we have Leah from Fox Stevens Conveyancing.
Yes.
Which is fantastic, which is great. So this is episode 7. We haven't been chopped yet. We haven't been told we've got to wrap things up, mainly because we run it, so we can... It's up to us, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's good. So just a reminder about the Beach Business Breakfast, third Thursday of every month, Merriweather Surf Club, 7:30 till 8:30. $10 gets you some great networking, breakfast, and the opportunity to hear about what other business people are doing. So, Leah, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
That's right. So, you're a conveyancer. You've been
I am, yes.
conveyancing in Newcastle for a while now, before that in Adelaide, I think.
That's right.
How did you get into conveyancing?
I actually got into conveyancing by accident. I did some work experience for a conveyancer in a town called Gawler, which is north of Adelaide,
Yep.
and gateway to the Barossa Valley.
There's a racetrack at Gawler.
There is, yes.
Yep. Seen that
Not far
a
from
few times.
wineries. So I did a bit of work experience for a conveyancer. I was actually living down south at the time, and then a position came up for a secretary.
Excellent.
She remembered the time that I came and helped her out.
Yep.
Asked me to submit my resume.
Oh, good.
I got the job, and the rest is history.
Excellent, that's great. It just shows a lot of the time you pick up jobs just because you've done things
Yeah.
like that, and through people remember you. You obviously made
I'm glad she remembered.
You obviously made an impression, so it was obviously a good one, which is good.
Business owners never forget a good potential employee. I think
Yeah.
That's
if
it.
they see, gee, that'd be really good here.
That's
or
it.
sometimes they create positions for them.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I was only 19 years old, so I was
Yeah.
bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Excellent. Yeah, so Adelaide, when did you grow up in Adelaide?
Yes.
Yeah.
So born in Adelaide.
Yep.
Left Adelaide in 2000, had a year in
Yep.
Melbourne in 2001,
Nice. Yep.
and moved up here in 2002 just to see what it's like, and haven't left.
Yeah, no, it's a great spot, isn't it? Yeah. It's really, really good, isn't it?
Came sight unseen.
Yeah, no, that's good. So, why did you decide to go into business with?
Yeah, the main reason I decided to go into business on my own was for
Yep.
flexibility.
Yep.
I've always been, for the most part, been fortunate to have great bosses,
Yep.
worked for some really great law firms in town,
Yep.
and always had a certain degree of flexibility, which was great, but it wasn't that ultimate
Yeah.
flexibility that I wanted.
Were you worried at all about the competition? Like, there's other conveyancing firms. There's lawyers that do conveyancing. Like, did you sit down and have any kind of plan about it, or are you just like, oh well, I'll be fantastic. People will come to me. Let's go. Like, what?
Pretty much. I think I just had, I've been in the industry a long time. I've been in the conveyancing industry for about 21 years now, so I had a healthy dose of confidence
Yeah.
in my abilities, and just thought, well, it's now or never. Give it a
Okay.
go. Yep.
Yeah, no, that's good. So, how did you get your first couple of clients? Like, what did you do?
Yeah. Well, my first couple of clients were actually friends buying properties.
Yep.
Yeah, lean on
Which
the
was
people you know.
handy, so they were kind of hanging like, hurry up. They knew that,
Yeah,
it was
friends
in
and
the
family are
wings,
good, aren't they, for the first
that
couple?
I was getting ready. So,
Yeah.
and then basically it was, people that I've done work for before. Word sort of spread naturally with, and just contacting, I guess, people that I've worked with in the past, different real estate agents or
Yep.
mortgage brokers, bankers, etc. that we've
Yep.
dealt with. They're usually our best referral source, and it's just sort of naturally grown just through word of mouth.
Yeah,
Yep.
word of mouth.
Is it
Best way to
right
get
that conveyancing is a sort of state by state issue? Like, was
It
there
is,
much
yeah.
that you had to do to transition from South Australia to New
I
South
had
Wales?
to do, it is actually quite different. So because it's state-based, they've talked for years about a national conveyancing scheme, but it's going to be quite difficult. Might not see that for
national schools curriculum.
Yep, we won't see that for a long time. So going from South Australia to New South Wales was, there was a bit of learning involved. I had to work under a solicitor for about 6 months before, and then to get, experience, and then they signed off so that I could get my registration in New South Wales.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you
and
could-
then it's just continual learning as well.
Yeah. So what's a typical day for a conveyancer? Like what's apart from wearing a Hawaiian shirt, quarter to 8 in the morning on a beautiful summer's day, what's your sort of typical day? I know we've had chats about like banks wanting to do settlements at certain times. So
Yep.
how do you sort of gear up for that?
Yep.
Like, how does your day sort of pan
yeah,
out?
I mean, I guess every day is different, but it's generally, our main forms of communication is, telephone, email.
Yep.
So we often, we have to, we're constantly monitoring, phone calls, emails.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, we've always got checklists and to-do lists because matters are at different stages, and what we do is very time conscious. So there could be matters that need to be exchanged, there could be calling off periods expiring, settlements to be booked in, settlements to attend, check directions to get to banks. So
middle names to be added to contracts.
Exactly, middle names. So there's always things that need to be done. So it's we're basically, I guess, the circus jugglers of the property transaction, because we're speaking to the brokers, speaking to the bankers, the other solicitors, other
like
conveyancers.
a real financial penalty if you don't do your job in time.
That's right. Everything's
to schedule. Like you can't really leave. Like you're saying, checklists, and you can't leave it to what you remembered you did last time, because
it changes.
One not correct document could be a few $1,000s or whatever.
That's it.
So
we've got to be we've got to be very time conscious. So our diaries are jam packed with usually reminders and appointments. But that's you've got to be very good at time management and juggling.
And why is it that banks like to settle in the afternoon? Why is that?
So with a manual settlement, because we're now coming into the era of electronic settlements,
oh,
which we've actually been the first conveyancing company in Newcastle to do the first electronic settlement, which we're excited about. And so with electronic settlements, we did that one at 11 a.m. in the morning. That was fine because all the funds are electronic. So with a manual settlement, the bank might be based in Sydney. They've got to get their settlement instructions up to Newcastle. Their settlement agent maybe have to collect bank checks that morning. So so the morning is used to get everything ready for settlement, and so traditionally they like to settle between 2 and 3 in the afternoon.
And I think it might have been December, I think there was a record number of settlements in Australia. It was something I read somewhere.
Yeah, possibly,
In that month there was a record number of settlements from people refinancing and buying places and off the plan settling and all that sort of stuff.
That's it.
So the way you describe that, there's quite a few sort of things to be passed between people and people's time to sort of distribute checks and things like this. So there's a fair efficiency in just going, I don't know, whatever, they put two numbers together and now the money's in there. Is that like...
Yeah, so
a big difference, right?
That's where, it'll be great. I mean, slowly we're seeing electronic settlements happen more and more. So it'll be great when that's on foot, because that actually speeds up the process, not just the settlement process, because all funds are immediately, transferred electronically. It's great for vendors because they all get their settlement funds instantly into their nominated bank account as cleared funds, whereas at a manual settlement, you'll receive a bank check in favour of the vendor. You've got to bank your client's check. 3 business days later, then they can access their money. There's that time lag. And the other efficiencies are lodgement of documents at the Lands Titles Office. So it's all done immediately.
That's very good.
Yeah. So what sort of marketing, like you rely on referral sources, of course, to do any other sort of marketing for you?
We do very limited formal marketing. Our main source is word of mouth and referrals. But there's a couple of events that we'll sponsor that we're fond of. So things like Girl Friday we support, and Divas on the Green, because they support Westpac Rescue Helicopter. So that's probably the most formal sort of marketing that we do during the year. Otherwise, our best form of marketing is doing a great job for a client, and then having word of mouth and having brokers want to use us because we get the job done, or agents because we keep them up to date and things like that.
And a lot of it's about communication, about when you're with a good business partner, at 9 o'clock at night something comes up, you can SMS them.
Oh, absolutely.
As we often do, and that sort of stuff, and you get immediate response and good service. And
often some firms shy away from different forms of communication, so they're not fans of maybe sending text messages and things like that, whereas I think it's perfect. If you're busy, it's great to have a quick text message to say everything's fine, or hang on, I need to chase this up, or
And do you do that at like stages of the process with your clients? Like we'd say a mortgage, with a mortgage broking, which we do, little plug for us there.
Yeah.
That you know, when something has happened, like the bank's got documents or
Yep.
something's happened, we just flick a quick text to the people
Yep.
and say, look, just an update, blah blah blah. I'll give you an update in 2 days.
And we're the same. Yep.
stuff,
So
yeah.
we'll either a quick phone call, an email, or a text message,
Yeah.
depending. You know, and you get to know your client and,
Yeah.
and their
And what they
preferred.
like.
Yep. We have
Yeah.
you know older clients that you know don't like email or SMS,
Yeah.
so we'll you know give them a call. We've got clients that are busy, hard to get on the phone, so you
Yeah.
flick them a text message or an email.
Yeah.
Everyone's different, and you know you do
Yeah.
get to know your client and what they prefer. Yeah.
Now I know you work out of a business hub.
Yes.
Yeah, we had Tracy on last week. And they run an incubator centre. How's that work out? Working
Yeah,
at a
it's
business hub?
fantastic.
Work well?
Yep, so we work out of the Link Business Hub at Adamstown.
Yep.
Give them a plug.
Yep.
The girls there are fantastic. So
Yep.
they take our excess calls. So they will, you know, take calls that we can't take a message, and then they'll email us, and we'll get back to people as soon as we can.
Yep.
And then we also they have a boardroom there, so
Yep.
we'll book the boardroom to meet clients. So that we can have a space to, and they're quite flexible with bookings, and yeah, they're fantastic.
I think I shouldn't have told the guys from the surf club that if they stand at the back, they get on the video. It's a bit like you watch. I was watching NCIS or something the other day, and they were trying to solve some crime, and just people walking behind them in the background. And you sort of you notice it more now. I think the guys think they're going to end up being famous and get sponsorship or something. But so what's the best business advice you've ever been given?
Best business advice is probably making time, probably not really business advice, more personal advice.
Yeah.
Make time for yourself, because as you probably know, running a small business can be 24/7.
Yeah, a bit relentless.
Yeah, and so I guess for me, I originally kept saying things like, you know, oh yeah, work-life balance, and then someone said to me, it's just life. There is no work-life balance. You've just got to, everything's life. You've just got to fit it in. So now I'm actually better at diarising things that I want to do personally in amongst the work.
You know, a lot of people like block off at the start of the week, block off their personal time, and then make the work fit in around that. But you've just got to roll with it, haven't you? All the time and just-
and that's part of, I guess, the flexibility that we wanted as well, and trying to fit other things in as well. Yeah,
Excellent.
and just being conscious of doing that.
And let's say business starts again next week. You've got to go and begin all over again.
Yep.
What do you do different?
I probably wouldn't do too much differently. Like, I've probably enjoyed, you know, the journey so far and how we sort of started. Probably more starting certain technology things from the get-go that you kind of don't realise in hindsight. Once you get busy, it's fine when you're quieter, when you're just starting, but soon the momentum picks up very fast, and then you kind of go, okay, we need this software, we need that. Having those things in place from the get-go.
So like a calendar on computer versus calendar on a book on the desk, sort of.
But and for us it's like the conveyancing software package. So for us it was, I sort of held off getting the Leap cloud software. I waited sort of a few months, but really I probably should have just got it from the start, from day one, because then I was entering old matters, that I'd sort of
Catching
started
up on.
manually, and putting it on the system, whereas now I couldn't live without it. So
I suppose that's a big
Definitely
change, isn't it? The
technology.
last 10 or 20 years is just the amount of technology and the amount of change and stuff in the cloud and that sort of thing. It's just made it a lot more efficient.
Oh,
but
yeah.
You still got to keep on top of it. So.
that's it. Yep.
Okay, well, Leah, thanks for your time this morning. Thanks for coming in.
worries.
It's
My
put on
pleasure.
beautiful weather for you again, which is great. Not sure how these are going to go in the next couple of months. Once it does get a bit cold, we might have to wear something a bit under the
skivvies
wine
under the
shirts.
wine
Beanies.
shirts.
Yeah, beanies or skivvies. Haven't heard that one for a while. So thanks. So you have a great day, and thanks for joining us. And,
No worries.
we'll see you all in our next episode, which is coming up shortly.